All right, so the review questions again are on 649, 650, and 651. Number 1, in C#, events are, which one do you think it would be? A makes sense to me. They are triggered by actions. Number 2, a delegate is an object that contains a reference to a, anybody want to guess on that one? Yeah, the answer, I believe, is C. It's a method. Number 3, C# delegates provide a way for a program to, probably make cases for a couple of these, but I think it's A, take alternative courses that are not determined until runtime. I believe number 3 is A. All right, number 4. Well, ideally, you know as far as which of these is correct, A would be out because the word delegate's not in there. So that should just make sense to everyone. This one, B is out because it doesn't tell the type of parameter. I believe it's C, because this one doesn't have a return type. So again, if we go back, you don't have to do this, but they showed you how to create these in a bunch of places in the book. So I'll just go back and take a look at the You Do It one here, and it looks to me like it would be C for number 4. Number 5, if you have declared a delegate instance, you can assign it a reference to a method as long as the method has the same blank as the delegate. All right? And I believe the answer is 2 of the above because it should be A, return type, and C, parameter list. If you remember, we looked at that one where you had that greeting delegate, and it was a void that had a string passed into it, and you could use it with either hello or goodbye. All right? Number 6, you can combine 2 delegates to create, remember what that one is? What? Composed, D. Number 6 should be D. Number 7, to combine 2 delegates using the plus operator, the delegate objects must have the same parameter list, and this, I think it's C, both of these. Because you're combining like types of objects together. So I would guess at least number 7 is C. So that's what I would put at least. Number 8, in C#, a blank is triggered when specific changes to an object occurs. How about that one? B, I would say an event. That's the whole thing about an event. Have you noticed too that I've said this to you before, that a lot of times with this author, if you get stuck on a question, if you read, you'll get the same question asked later in a different format. Maybe it was originally a true false and later it's in there as a fill in the blank or whatever. So if you get stuck, and a lot of times the stuff she thinks are most important, she might have in there 3 times. It might be in a definition term also. Number 9, an event handler delegate requires, an event handler delegate requires, I would say at least 1 argument. I would say D for that one. Again, I could be wrong, but I don't think it is. And we saw that example with the click event. All right, that it had a sender and it had args. In an event handler method, the sender is the from what we saw in the book, all right, it was C, the object where the event was initiated. Number 11, the event args class contains a static field named, don't have a clue. I would guess it's source. and I'm sure it's in here someplace, event args E. I think source will work. Number 12, when creating events, you can use a predefined delegate type named, all right, and I believe that's B, event handler, that is automatically provided by the .NET framework. So that should be, I believe, B. Number 13, hopefully you can all figure out which one 13 would be. I would say destroy. We've already looked at mouse enter today. We've looked at click with buttons. I showed you text changed, all right, with the text box. Yeah. Number 14, anybody want to guess on that one? I would say D, any number of events. Number 15, when you create forms with controls that raise events, an advantage to creating the code by hand over using the Visual Studio IDE is, now think of how it's worded. They're saying, why would you want to do it yourself as opposed to drag and drop? So the answer to me would be D. Because you're less likely to make you're more likely to make typing errors. You save a lot of repetition. No, you're going to have more repetitious typing. You're less likely to forget to set a property. No, because the properties will be set for you automatically with drag and drop. So D is the only one in there to me that makes sense. Number 16, when a form contains 3 controls and one has the focus, you can raise an event by, I would say that's C. Because, for example, if it's the button, you can just click the button, all right, which would be pressing enter, because we already know that you can have the accept button and the cancel button as an example, and you could click another control to make something happen. All right. Number 17, the tab stop property of a control is, oh boy, it's been a while since I've looked up tab stop. .642 according to this. Tab stop is a Boolean property of a control that identifies whether the control will serve as a stopping place. In other words, something that can receive the focus. So I would say B is the one that makes the most sense. And again, that's on page 642 if you need that. Number 18, the tab index of a property or of a control is, and the tab index is A, it's the integer value that indicates the tab order. (19) The control that causes an event is the blank argument to an event method. I would think it's the first. That's the one I would put down. Again, we'll go over the test review tomorrow morning. I thought I'd done it. It's either at home or else I never did it, which probably I didn't. Number 20, which of the following is true? I would say C. A single event can be generated from multiple controls. You can have a click event from multiple buttons. And B, multiple events from a single control. All right. So again, the rest of the period will be lab. If you are all caught up, start doing the first you do it exercises. You have to do all of them except for the last one. All right. Tomorrow we will spend the first half an hour doing the test review, and then we'll go over 2 of the examples at the end of the chapter. I don't know which 2. I haven't done any of these. All right. We'll do 2 of them, and those will be assigned, and I'll assign 1 more. We're going to do it the same way for chapter 14. by the end of the period, I will have sent you the test review, at least for Chapter 13, but ideally for 13 and 14. So when you come in here tomorrow, you can bring that test review up, and we'll start right away.